there's a question I get asked. I suppose most investigators get asked, what should you bring along on an investigation? Well, I used to have a ton of stuff, and I found that bringing a ton of stuff is just, it's no fun at 4 a.m. or whatever time it is, 5 a.m. to tear it all down. I used to use VCRs. I have 16 cameras set up. Winding up all that wire, making sure everything was put away, just drudgery. So I've pretty much condensed it down just to a few things. I use a lot of what you see here. This is pretty much my go-to case for any investigation, whether it's big or small. I just if it's a big area, I concentrate all my efforts on that area for a short period of time. If it's a smaller area, obviously these items here I can use more effectively. But the nice thing about these items is they're audible and they're visual, and I think that's important, especially being down in Tennessee. This is going to be a big place that I'm going to be investigating in, and so everything that Robert's bringing along with what I'm bringing is visual. If you would ask me what my favorite piece of equipment is, it would be this right here. This is a vibration sensor. I don't have the batteries in it. I think I mostly take all the batteries out, and the batteries, it's out of it. I do that simply because I don't like them to corrode in the devices. But if something physically moves or touches this device, it'll go into alarm. And I like to use it with trigger objects like cigarettes, alcohol, candy, anything that I feel some might want to grab it and physically bump into this. And if it happens, this thing will just scream like a banshee. I used to use, I don't use it so much anymore, of course, is the K2. I don't use it because Robert has really clued me in on a lot of how the K2 works. Without getting into specifics on the engineering behind these, of course, we all know they were originally used for electricians to find EM leakage from fuse boxes and things of that nature. But they often have a tendency to mirror themselves. From what I gather, in a nutshell, I guess they kind of see themselves, and all of a sudden they'll start blinking and flashing. And they react to their own blinking and flashing, and it's a lot of false positive readings, which Ghost Gear's products do not have. During this investigation, I will be using the FLIR. This is a cheap and expensive FLIR. It's not that expensive. It's not high end, but it does the job. The Eddy, of course, which in my opinion, it's too sensitive. Motion sensors. I love motion sensors. These are non-passive. They pick up both movement. It's kind of like your ear, how your ear works. There's like an eardrum. It beats when it hears sound, and it what's the right word to use? It translates those vibrations into sound, and that's what this does. There's like a little piece of gelatin inside of here that will begin to wiggle when the airwaves move. So if something comes through airwaves, this thing will pick it up. Also, it will pick up variations, very slight variations in temperature. So if something would be a vast drop or quick heighten in temperature, it'll also go into alarm. So it has kind of a dual purpose to it, and so I really like using these. I've had some really good results at another place that I've investigated at a stagecoach in. Now, the spirit box, I do use these sometimes. People hear things in them all the time. Um, I've never had a lot of luck with the spirit box. Of course, I'm, being ex-military and around a lot of noise, I don't hear a lot. Robert may, he may hear things that I don't hear. We may implement this in the investigation. Of course, the Mel meter. But my favorite piece of equipment is this. It's an Olympus digital recorder. I like it because I can hook a set of headphones into it and listen in real time. And if I hear something, with the headphones on, I can hear pretty well. I can back it up and I can hear what was said, and maybe now I can go take a different direction in whatever the answer might be. I might have something else I can say now that is relevant to the location that I'm investigating at. So this is something that I really enjoy using. Also, I use the wireless microphones on everything, like I'm using today. I use a wireless microphone to get the best sound, so people can hear me from wherever I am in a room. I still use the microphones on the cameras. I believe I have one here. This is a shotgun microphone. These go on the cameras themselves. The cameras you're seeing here today. They pick up sound all the way around them and in front of them especially, not so much behind. The onboard cameras, I got two onboard cameras that pick up pretty much everywhere around the camera. So I got 4 channels of audio. So if there's something that is heard, the cameras will pick it up. Or I should say, if something is said, maybe that my ears can't hear, the camera will pick it up. I also like to use these guys. These are expensive. They're ghost meters. They flash, and they make a really high-pitched beeping sound when something approaches them. I don't know if you can see it or not, but in the bottom here, I have these little inserts, so we can put these on tripods and stand them up in areas where I feel something might pass through an area, and they're on a tripod, they're up in the air, we can see them, the cameras can see them, and hopefully they go off one after another along with Robert's equipment that we're going to have set up in conjunction with all of my equipment. Also, I carry at least one big battery. This is something that I can charge batteries or my cameras. I'll get it spit out on this, as well as I can use. It has a 110 outlet. I can fire this up, as you can see. Then I can use a black light. I use a black light a lot, primarily for orb detection. You walk into a room, you turn this thing on, and you can really see the orbs light up if you're seeing a lot of orbs on film, on camera. You think, oh, it's orbs. Well, I turn this on, and dust is just all over in the room, and then I got a pretty good sense that it's probably not spiritual activity. It's just dirt. So this is something I like to use. Also, during our investigation down there, lighting is a big issue with me, especially in an IR. So I use an IR floodlight. I will illuminate the entire room in IR. So these cameras can have even better opportunity to hopefully pick something up in the IR spectrum. So that's a little bit of a nutshell. Oh, one more thing. You can't see it. See if I can grab it real quick. PPE, personal protection equipment. A lot of these older basements, older houses, had some nasty stuff they used to use years ago to insulate, and so I wear this at times when I'm investigating. It makes it really difficult sometimes for the audio to pick me up, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So do I have a lot of equipment? No, not really. Not much more than anybody else. Some people really get extravagant and they get a lot of different things. One more item that I do use is the GoPros. They don't carry a lot of battery strength to them, but in a pinch they work really well in small places, in small areas they work really well. That's kind of the gear that I'll be using on Dark Gear Paranormal's investigation in Tennessee. See what we catch.